So you've got this massive, world-changing idea, an ambition you might even call a massive transformative purpose, or an MTP. But here's the big question, right? The one that stops so many brilliant ideas dead in their tracks. How do you actually make it happen? How do you get from that amazing light bulb moment to creating real, measurable impact? Well, that's exactly the challenge we're going to tackle today with a super powerful tool, the MTP Fulfillment Framework. Does this feel familiar? You've got all the passion, you've got this incredible purpose, but figuring out that very first step just feels impossible. Yeah, it can be totally overwhelming, kind of like trying to climb a huge mountain without a map. But the good news, there is a map. And in this explainer, we are going to walk you through it step by step. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about what it really means to fulfill your purpose. Then, we'll introduce the MSIRTP framework itself. We're going to break down each part, meaning and stakeholders, then ideas and reality, and finally, transformation and prototypes. And to wrap it all up, we'll talk about how to put the whole thing to work. By the end of this, you're going to have a much clearer path forward. So, the main tool we're going to be using is the MSIRT framework. Yeah, I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, but just think of it as your guide, a really powerful set of steps that connects your huge vision directly to a concrete project. This is the secret sauce that turns those ambitious dreams into something you can actually start building. And here they are, the 6 steps in all their glory. MSIRTP. That's for meaning, stakeholders, ideas, reality, transformation, and prototypes. We're going to unpack every single one of these, but just looking at it now, you can already see how it flows, right? It goes from the really big, abstract meaning of your purpose all the way down to tangible, hands-on experiments. Okay, let's dive in with the first 2 letters, M and S, which are the absolute foundation of everything. Before you can build anything, you have to know what you're building and, just as important, who you're building it for. This is all about defining your purpose with total clarity and really understanding the entire human ecosystem around it. First step, meaning and measures. See, your massive transformative purpose can't just be some fuzzy, inspirational quote on a poster. It has to be translated into simple, everyday language that anyone can get. And, this is crucial, you have to define what success actually looks like. What's that big, audacious 10-year milestone that will prove you're on the right track? It's that old saying, right? If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So this is the first essential question you've got to force yourself to answer. Seriously, forget the soaring mission statement for a minute. In plain English, what are you actually doing? And how will you know, without a shadow of a doubt, when you've hit a major milestone? Getting this crystal clear from the very beginning is absolutely non-negotiable. All right, next up, stakeholders. A world-changing idea doesn't happen in a vacuum, you know? You need to map out every single person or group that your project touches. And I want to be super clear here, this is not just about your customers. Who's involved in building it? Who benefits from it? Who might be negatively affected? And who out there could contribute to its success? Answering this, it's absolutely critical. Your stakeholders are your community. They're your ecosystem. Understanding their needs, their fears, and what they can bring to the table right from day one, well, that can be the difference between success and failure. Okay, so our foundation is set. Now we move to the next phase, I and R, for ideas and reality. This is the crucial reality check. This is where your brilliant solutions collide head-on with the real world, and it's where you find out if you're solving a problem that people actually, truly care about. Now, what I love about this slide is the tension it shows you. Over on the left, you've got your idea, your hypothesis about a problem and how to solve it. But on the right, you have the current reality. What are people doing right now? The most valuable insights you'll ever find live in the gap between those 2 columns. Okay, listen up, because this might be the single most important question in this entire framework. You might think you found a huge problem, but if your intended customers don't see it as critical, if it's not a hair-on-fire problem for them, then your amazing solution is basically dead on arrival. You have to validate this first. And here's the trick to finding the answer. You've got to look for the workarounds. Look for the compensations. If you see people have created these complex, time-consuming, or even expensive ways to deal with a problem, that is a huge signal that they'll be desperate for a better solution. Those little compensations, they're a goldmine of information. Okay, so we've established our foundation and we've checked it against reality. Now we get to build stuff. We're moving into the final and most exciting phase, T and P. This is the action plan, where we create transformation and we build prototypes. This is where your idea stops being just an idea and starts becoming real.
So, let's talk about something called a minimum viable transformation, or MVT. Now, this isn't your final polished product. Not at all. It's the smallest possible thing you can do or show that delivers a real impact and demonstrates the core value of your idea. It's that wow moment that makes someone sit up and say, okay, I get it and I want that.
This question is all about focus. Forget all the bells and whistles for just a moment. What is the single core transformation that your idea provides? What's the most direct path to proving that value to someone who has never even heard of it before? That right there is your MVT. So how do you actually show people that MVT? Well, you do it with prototypes and experiments. This is where you really get your hands dirty. It's all about building tangible models, and hey, they don't have to be pretty, that let you test your biggest assumptions and validate your solution with real human beings. And this is what pushes you out of the world of spreadsheets and into the workshop. What do you need to build? Not to sell, but to learn. Is it a quick sketch, a cardboard model, a simple piece of code? The prototype is there to serve the experiment, and the experiment is there to validate your big idea. All right, let's pull all of this together, shall we? We've walked through all 6 steps of the MSIRTP framework, from the highest level meaning all the way down to the most hands-on, tangible prototype. And if there's one thing to remember, it's this. The MSRTP framework isn't a one-time checklist you just work through and you're done. No way. It's a powerful repeating cycle. You define your purpose and stakeholders. You ground your ideas in reality. You build and test with transformations and prototypes. And then you learn from that. And you repeat the cycle, getting smarter and closer to your goal each and every time. So I'm going to leave you with one final question. A challenge, really. The whole point of this framework is to get you to stop just thinking and to start doing. It's designed to get you unstuck. So based on everything we've just covered, what's the very first, simplest prototype you could possibly build tomorrow to start making your massive transformative purpose a reality?